everyone, I'm back on YouTube, and today I thought I'd talk about some of my favorite books that I've read in the past couple of years, just my current favorites. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I really want to get back into it, so I thought I'd share these to start. The first one I want to talk about, I think I read in 2021, but it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and this book has stuck with me like nothing else before or since, and it's just such a poignant, heart-wrenching book that takes you through an entire life of a person while also giving you every emotion possible. And I grew so attached to the characters in this book, and if you don't know, I don't like to really give synopses because I like to go into books blind, so I like to provide the same opportunity. If you enjoy stories that take darker turns than you expect, and characters that worm their way into your heart, and scenes that you just call to memory at any time after reading the book for years to come, I highly recommend this one. The next one I have to recommend is a book that I started a long time ago, and it's a series. So I've been reading all of the books over the past couple years, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I read A Court of Thorns and Roses in 2020, and it totally changed my reading life. I had already been an avid reader before that, but something about that series just changed my brain chemistry, and ever since I've loved all of Sarah's books. So that's felt so first name basis. So I decided I should pick up her Throne of Glass series as well. I had actually read the first Crescent City book before jumping into this, which is wild, but I immediately fell in love with our main character in this book, Selena. As you can tell, I'm a very character-driven reader, and if you have good characters that interact in ways that I love, that make me just be so invested in their lives like they're real people, then you have sold me. And Sarah J. Maas does that every time. I just love her characters and love the growth and journeys that all of them go on throughout their books. So we start with following Selena Sardothian, who is an assassin in the king's competition to be his royal assassin, basically. And that's all I'll tell you at the beginning. And also that once you get into the other books, there's more magic and political intrigue, and it's just so good. It's like her mind is just so complex. She can put together different threads from each book to tie them together, and it's so well done. I'm almost finished with Kingdom of Ash, the last book now, and I just don't want to let go of this series, so it's been taking me almost a month to finish that book, which is not normal for me, but I get so attached to characters, especially after that many pages, that I just don't want it to end. But clearly, I highly recommend this series. I don't think I said this before, but these books aren't in a particular order. They are all my favorites, and I think you should read all of them. If any of them interest you, go for it. This is the first book I read this year in 2024, and I devoured this book in 3 days. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It is so good. I just could not stop thinking about it. I first rated it 4.5 stars, but then I went back and changed it to 5 because I still cannot stop thinking about this book, to the point that when Barnes & Noble was having their 25% off pre-order sale, I pre-ordered the new novella that Lauren Roberts just announced, as well as the sequel. But you follow Peyton in this book, and it's very much got a Hunger Games type of feel. There's a competition that she has to go into that is very reminiscent of the Hunger Games or the Triwizard Tournament in Harry Potter or something like that, but it's got its own twist in this book, and I just adore it. I love any sort of tournament. That's the word I'm looking for. Tournament type stories make me so enthralled, and I can never put them down. But then the romance. She adds this beautiful romance plotline and dual point of view and just everything that I love. And so I ate this up. It's a young adult book, and I think it's probably about 16 plus, but I just loved it. and I already want to reread it before the new novella comes out. If you're sensing a theme, I really, really, really love romance and fantasy. And put them together, make them romantasy, and I am a happy girl. So no one's going to be surprised that Fourth Wing was one of my favorite reads last year. I also really enjoyed the sequel, Iron Flame. It's just right over there, but I don't have it in my stack. But this series is just, it's like, it has me wrapped around its finger the same way that Divergent did when I was a teenager, where I just cannot, apparently I cannot form words about it, but I just adore this book. And the main character actually deals with chronic pain, and she actually has the same disease that the author does, which I think is called EDS, and it just causes her muscles and ligaments to be very weak, and she can easily injure herself. So seeing a character like that go into dragon rider school, yes, you heard me right, if you haven't read this yet somehow, but like seeing her go through all these hard things with that struggle and still be able to overcome them or work through it or find a way to make it easier on herself, that was something I actually really enjoyed, because she wasn't necessarily seeing herself by the end of the book as weaker for needing adjustments or needing help to do the same things as everyone else. She just saw it as something she had to do to function, and I really, really appreciate that representation in this book. But I also just adore the romance, I adore the characters, and that's full of adventure that I just can't stop thinking about it. And now I want to reread this. That's dangerous. This video is making me want to reread everything that I'm talking about. Oh. And the last series that I have to talk about today is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I read the first two in like probably a week, and then I read the third one right when it came out last year, and they are just so much fun. If you want a fantasy fairy tale vibe with lovable characters and a lovable but hateable love interest, are we sensing a theme? Are we? You will love these books, and I have seen so many people read them and love them. They're probably not new to anyone, but I just adore them so much. You need to read these if you haven't yet. I realized I forgot to include romance books, so we're just gonna do a couple that I've loved recently as well. And last but certainly not least, I absolutely love Emily Henry, just like every other girl. Her writing is absolutely the best rom-com writing I've ever read in my entire life. I just think she has a way of adding depth and personality to her characters that no other author seems to have. And her cadence of writing just makes the dialogue and banter so witty, so funny, and it just flows so well that it feels like it's just happening when I read her books. It doesn't even feel like I'm reading a book. I don't have to suspend my disbelief. I just am in her books whenever I read them. And I'm holding up these two specifically because they are my two favorites. I read Book Lovers and was just like, this is so good. I identify so much with the romance specifically in this one. And then Beach Read, January is my soul character. So if you're wanting to like, let me bare my soul to you, read this book. So these are just a few of the books that I've loved recently. I'm sure there are many more to come. I know a lot of these are really popular, so you don't even have to say, I've seen all of these. These are just ones that I have also read and enjoyed recently. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm planning to post every other Friday from now on as best I can. So I hope to see you in the next one. Bye! Shannon's being Shannon. But I will just say, if you like and Is that too much of a spoiler? I don't even know. Oh. So close. Oh no. Ah. Oh. Yeah.